All right,
to the next.
Let's head on over to Los Angeles, and we'll talk about the team that makes 900 transfers in off season and just absolutely crushed everybody last year. It's LAFC. Steve Cherundolo goes into year two after doing the double with MLS Cup and Supporter Shield, meaning he finished first in the West on 67 points, winning on games won, not goal differential, games won. Um, it is a essentially a brand new LAFC side with all the moves that they've made. Um, Talk to me about what you think their shape is and who you think starts.
I've got them in a 4-3-3. So I will caveat this by saying that I have Maxime Crepeau at the top of my depth chart, but considering that he will be out, I believe for a while, unless I'm wrong. Um, I've got John McCarthy starting a goal. I think penalty save heroics. He's earned that spot to start. Um, Left back, I've got Diego Palacios. The two center backs, I've got Jesus Murillo and Aaron Long. And at right back, I've got Sergi Palencia. Three midfielders, I've got Jose Cifuentes, Illy Sanchez, and Kellen Acosta. And then the attacking trio, I've got Dennis Buanga, Kwadwo Opoku, and Carlos Vela.
Yep, we are exactly the same in a 4-3-3 shape. I've got McCarthy in there until Crepeau comes back. I've got Palencia or Hollingshead at the right back spot. Um, I think there you'll see rotation there based off of how many games they have to play this year. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
ton of
that makes
games,
sense.
so you're gonna see a lot of
Yep.
replacement. Midfield three is the same. Attacking three is the same. To me, um, remember this is the Justice for Aaron Long podcast. Thank you for joining us. Their best edition is
I do
Aaron
not
Long.
sign off on that.
Their best edition is Aaron Long. It brings veteran MLS and USMNT experience to a very strong back line. He's going to have to do a ton less 1v1 defending with Acosta and Sanchez in there. I think he'll pair nicely with Murillo. I think we see a step up from him in 2023 versus what he had to do with Red Bull next to Dylan Yost.
Yeah, as much as I don't sign off on the Justice for Aaron Long podcast title, he was also my pick for best edition for them this season. I think I honestly, considering how many games they have to play, I'm really glad they don't have to be stuck with starting Chiellini, because he is not going to last that many games in this season. So it's really good that they got two center backs that I think can start majority of those games, and then when you need to, you can rotate in Chiellini. So I think picking up an MLS veteran who, as much as we do like to give him slack, he's a very good he's a good MLS center back. So
What
it's
do
a
you
great
mean
addition for them.
we? What do you mean
I'm
by
saying
we?
like the majority of the population, not you. I know
Correct.
you don't.
Don't you dare throw that slander. Do we even need to talk about their biggest loss? I think it's quite clear.
Yeah,
Yeah, they missed out on signing Alex Muyl. I get it. Got to get him in there. Um,
it's true.
Chicharrano is gone. He's in Mexico. I'm not going to go into why he's the biggest loss. If you don't, go look it up. I can't believe they let him. This is like for a front office that has been pretty good over the last 18 months. This is criminal.
Oh yeah, they've knocked like every transfer out of the park for like the last two seasons, and this was the first swing and miss in a while. I unless he's like absolutely like, and I don't know exactly the details of what's going on behind the scenes, but unless he's absolutely like banging down the GM's door to like force a move away, I don't understand why you do this. I mean, he was poised for another really strong season.
I mean, he's the Yosef of the West. I mean, this guy comes in and scores goals for fun. You don't find that in anybody. That is not something you can just teach. They have the open designated player slot with what's his face leaving, Teo, Christian Teo. So I don't understand why you're not throwing it at a guy who's proven that he can do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm
I
double
agree
I'm double
100%.
checking here just to be sure I'm not wrong. You've got Boanga as a DP, you got Cifuentes as a U22. That's great.
I would assume
And
Vela is the other DP.
you got Vela as the other DP. There's nobody left.
Yeah. No, they definitely have the spot open. I'm pretty sure Teo was his last one, and he's gone.
Oh my goodness, that's poor. I mean, they really swung and missed on that. 100%.
Yeah, unless you have plans to bring in like Erling Holland right now, and that's why you wanted to keep the DP spot open. That's the only way that I can like feel like justifying this move. Otherwise, I just don't understand it. I mean, maybe LAFC fans can give us some more insight on what was going on there.
Yeah. Um, the guy I'm watching though, Stipe Buik. As soon as they signed him, there was just hype everywhere. And I don't know if it was Daddy Don at MLS.com or MLSsoccer.com saying post all about everything LAFC does ever because they're my favorite team ever and I need to make sure that they win everything. Or if it's real. Um, at 20 years old, he looks like he's primed to be the next wave of Croatian talent, which, as we've seen, is very impressive after going to the World Cup final in 2018 and now the World Cup third place game in 2022. They are talking about this guy being, I mean, unbelievable. He's got 10 appearances and 2 goals for the U21 team in Croatia, 15 appearances at 20 years old with a goal and 2 assists in the Croatian league for Hajduk Split. Great name. Scored a goal in a Europa League qualifier, probably against Barcelona. Frauds. Sorry, I'm still angry about the Julian Araujo transfer. At 20 years old, he's already listed at having 67 professional appearances, 6 goals, 8 assists. I think he fits in well learning under Vela. He's not a direct replacement for Araujo, but one of the starting players, probably a Poku, right, as we said, is going to end up being a number 9, which means he's going to get his number called, especially with all the games that they're going to play. He's going to get minutes in MLS. He's going to get minutes in U.S. Open Cup because they're going to focus on Campeones Cup. They're going to focus on uh, Champions League. They're going to focus on all the big ones. So he's going to get his time. And if they want to repeat being the best of the best against everybody, he's going to have to really step up and perform.
That's a good shout. Definitely some massive potential there. My one to watch for the season, John McCarthy. I really want to see how he can fill the shoes for Kerpo while he's out. I think we saw little bits of flashes of it in that penalty shootout, and let's see if he can translate that across a larger sample size. He's obviously experienced in this league. He's been in and around the league for a while now, and he's got some big shoes to fill. Kerpo's a fantastic goalkeeper in this league, and I'm really curious to see how McCarthy slides in there. I mean, he's got a strong defense in front of him, so he'll have the help. So let's see what he can do. He'll be my one to watch for the season.
Yeah, the reason I didn't add him is because I didn't know if Steve Shrundle would go off his rocker and start 38-year-old Eldin Jakupovic. I mean,
I
Everton
hope
makes
not.
the world takes.
I really hope not.
Me either, but I'm just not quite sure how that's going to roll out. So, um, if I had to ask one question, only one, about this team, it actually follows your question from Houston. With so much roster movement, can this team replicate the fluidity and the team chemistry early in the season to find early success? I am worried. I'm very worried that um, they are going to do so much movement to a team that was already very good and mess it up. So that is my question.
Fair question. My question, do they have the depth to repeat? As you said before, a lot of games for them this season. I built out a little depth chart. In the back line, they're strong. Even at goalkeeper, they have a lot of options. As soon as you move forward from that spot, it gets very thin, unless I'm missing players. In the midfield, I have one guy outside of the starting 3 for the midfield to rotate. In the attack, they don't even have a true striker. I've got Carlos Vela playing striker right now. Um, they have a little bit of depth on the wings with Christian Torres and Buke, but this team feels kind of thin right now. I don't know, considering how many games they have to play. Do they have the depth to be able to repeat?
That was my other question. I agree with you. I think it's worrisome if this team wants to repeat, but I didn't ask it because they have that designated player slot available, and I'm very certain that somebody else is coming through the door. I can't imagine we're not going to see somebody.
Yeah, I would hope they would use it to bring in a number 9. But even in that case, they still need at least one more person in the midfield.
Yeah, and you know the movement is worrying because they're sending all the players with experience out and not bringing anybody back in. So definitely curious as to how that will play out, but one to watch. One to watch. I think we should move on
Yep.
before we continue to run.